All right, in this video, I'm going to be going over finding the x-intercept. Remember, the x-intercept, just like with all other graphs, it is where our graph crosses the x-axis. It is that point right there. It's always x comma 0. That's what lets it sit on the x-axis. And so when I go to find the x-intercepts, that is, because it's when y equals 0, I would set the equation equal to 0. I would replace f of x with 0. But because we're dealing with fractions, we know that the denominator cannot equal 0. So really with x-intercepts, we're only focused on the numerator. Now still, we want to have factored form in order to find the x-intercept. So we're going to start by factoring. We'll find the x-intercepts, and then we need to make sure that we write them as ordered pairs for our final answer. So I'm going to get started here by factoring both the numerator and denominator, because if one of these factors is a whole, it is not an x-intercept. So we want to make sure that nothing cancels if we're just finding one of these characteristics. For the numerator, I would use big X, and that would be x plus 6 times x minus 2. In the denominator, I'm going to factor out the 4 GCF, and I'm left with x plus 6. All right, the x plus 6 cancels. Remember, that is the whole. But we're really interested in finding the x-intercept. So the x-intercept comes from whatever's in the numerator that does not cancel. So I'll take x minus 2, set it equal to 0. Solving for x, I get x equals 2, but I have to write it as an ordered pair. If you remember back to vertical asymptotes, we write vertical asymptotes as x equals a number. That would signify a vertical line. That's not what we have. We have an x-intercept, so we have to write it as such. This is the point 2 comma 0. That is the x-intercept. For this next one, the same thing. I'm going to start by factoring out a GCF in the numerator. So I get 2 times x squared minus 4 over 4x squared minus 81. Factoring with dots, the difference of two squares in the numerator, I get 2 times, just bringing down that GCF. The x squared minus 4 factors to x plus 2 times x minus 2. And then in the denominator, 4x squared minus 81, again, that's also a difference of two squares. The square root of 4x squared is 2x. 1 plus, 1 minus. The square root of 81 is 9. Now for this example, nothing cancels. So both of the factors in the numerator are x-intercepts. You can have more than one. So x equals negative 2, and then x minus 2 equal to 0, x equals 2. Again, I have to make them ordered pairs, so I get negative 2, 0, and 2, 0. Those are my x-intercepts.